Okay, so we're going to talk about just a couple of more things here. We left off saying that you can take any fraction, whether it's on a number line, a circle model, a tape diagram, and you can represent that fraction using the area model, just like we have done here. So if I gave you this situation, and I'm actually going to read this backwards. I'm going to read the bottom part first. So to get to school, Gabe runs 2/10 of a mile and walks 2/10 of a mile. So therefore, Gabe's home is 4/10 of a mile from his school. So take just a minute, and I want you to think about all the models that we've discussed, and I want you to represent 4/10. Okay, so whoever is in here, you might want to pause the video and give them just a minute to represent as many ways as they can 4/10. So hopefully you've had just a minute to represent 4/10 in as many ways as you can. So I do want to show you in the book. You know, sometimes I like the models in the book. And so you might have, it may take me a minute to get it. There we go. You might have, oh, let me do this. This would make much more sense, wouldn't it? All right, so you might have a tape diagram that represents 4/10. You may have a number line that represents 4/10. You may have a circular fraction model, or you might have an area model. So those are 4 different ways that you can represent 4/10, okay? Now I want you to think about the context though. Think about the context. If you're thinking about, or if you have the context of Gabe walking to school, so you're thinking of distances, which model would make the most sense to use to represent the distance from Gabe's home to school? Now, I know we're not there to discuss, but when I'm thinking of walking or measuring a distance, I'm thinking of a number line. So if I used a number line to represent 4/10, I can imagine Gabe running 2/10 and then walking 2 more tenths to get to school. Now, does that mean that that's the only way you can represent 4/10? No, but it may be a better representation of the problem. So think about if it was 4/10 of a cake. What would you use? I'd probably use either the tape diagram, like it showed at the beginning of the lesson, or an area model, because those are shaped like cake. What if you were measuring ribbon and you were representing the measurement in fractions? Because we know on a ruler that the ruler, the in between the whole inches or the whole meters or the whole, those are divided into fractional pieces. So how would you represent 4/10 of a meter of a ribbon? I could see either using a number line, because again, it's linear. I can imagine measuring that piece of ribbon, or a tape diagram, because a tape diagram is a little bit longer. Okay, so as you are solving contextual problems, like word problems where there are situations, think about what would be the best way to represent that fraction, because it can help you understand the problem a little bit better. Okay, so again, you can use any of those 4 models to represent 4/10, but we just want to, as we move forward in our learning, choose the model that's best going to help us understand the problem. Okay, we are here. Now, you are going to be working on pages 41 through 43. Okay, so I'm going to put that on the screen up here so that you know the problem. So if you need to pause this video at the end, you have those page numbers, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to be on page 41, you're drawing a number line to represent each given fractional amount. And so I'm going to make myself bigger just here. Should have done that on the other video. I apologize. So right here, you are given a picture of juice that's 3/4. So then you are to draw the number line and mark 3/4. So I do want to give you a little bit of a hint when you're drawing on number lines. Sometimes it's helpful to draw our chocolate bar or our tape diagram above the number line. So I encourage you still to do that. And so I'm going to do that here. I didn't do it as equal as I had hoped. It's okay. So I just drew, sorry about that, just drew a number line and drew the fractional model of tape diagram on top. And I divided the tape diagram into fourths. And then down here, it tells me where the partitions or the parts go on the number line. So if I were to shade that, I would know that this first mark represents 1/4. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a hint to do that with your number lines, that it's going to be easier to mark the number line if you draw your tape diagram or your chocolate bar on top so you can find exactly where the fraction goes. Okay, then on page 42, you're going to be given a fraction and you are expected to draw an area model. On both of those pages, you're going to be writing an equation. And then on page 43, you are just showing two different ways to show 9/10. At the end of the block, if you will complete page 45 and turn that in, okay? So at the end of the block, if you'll do page 45 and turn that in and think about these questions again. How can we use an area model to represent fractions? And what helps you determine which model to use to represent a fraction? Okay? All right. I miss you all very, very, very much. I can't wait to see you. And next time I see you, hopefully will be a little bit warmer and we will just continue on our fraction journey. All right, guys, make sure you're following the 3 B's and I will see you next time.